Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. Recently, developer Adapted Gaming provided me with the key for Thyria, a RPG and party-based game that is releasing into early access today, February 26th. I gave it a whirl and thought it was interesting, so I've decided to do a video for it on the channel. Leave me a note down in the comments with your thoughts on the game and whether or not you plan to pick it up. So first, I'll start with the things that I really like about this game, and the first one is the premise. You play as the witch Thyria, who is helping cursed villagers overcome their nightmares. They come to her hut and tell her about their situation, and from there she enters into a dream sequence where she has to find their nightmares and engage them in combat. In most of the games I've played, witches are the villains, so it's kind of cool to be playing as a witch, especially one who's helping out other villagers. Another thing that I really like about this game, which frankly should already be obvious, is the art, which is absolutely fantastic. No matter where you are or what you're doing or what you're trying to accomplish, the colors simply pop off of the screen. And I think the character and monster design is fantastic as well. They take full advantage of this amazing art, so you're never bored looking at what's on the screen. Crafting is a huge part of this game, and from what I've experienced, it seems to be done really, really well. So you can put together different components to craft just about everything that you use in the game. Obviously, most games would have you creating your own equipment and sometimes even your spells, but in this game, you summon guardians when you're going up against villagers' nightmares, and those guardians are actually crafted by you beforehand. This is a really, really cool system because the pieces that you combine together all have specific stats, so you can get an idea about what kind of character you're going to create. So for my first one, I chose a rock that emphasized defense and physical hardiness, and then I also chose a gem that was going to emphasize healing, and by combining them together, I was able to create a paladin guardian. And then I took another one that focused more on summoning and a different option that focused on poison, and it created a charlatan who was able to deal poison damage but also raise corpses as zombies that would help him. So it seems like there are a ton of different combinations you can use to create the exact type of guardian that you want. And there's a recipe book that tracks all the ones that you've created, so you can easily go back if you wanted to. Just really, really cool stuff. And it makes me wonder, as you progress further into the game, what sort of different options are you going to be able to get, and what sort of cool monsters will you be able to create? And all of these monsters have deeper levels of customization, so you can increase their attributes. They have gear that you can equip, and of course they all have their own special abilities that you can use during combat and mix and match as you see fit. So the game is just a mile deep when it comes to customization of both those characters and the Thyria witch that you're playing as. And of course, since it's such a blast putting together these different builds and figuring out what your team is going to look like, that also makes it really cool to go into combat and see everything play out in a battle. I will say that most of the fights seem to be on the easy side, and I don't remember any where I felt like there was a real chance I could potentially die. But I'm also very early in the game, and of course the game is in early access, so the developer will still do rebalancing and trying to figure out what's going to give people the best experience. Regardless, I'm definitely a fan of the gameplay loop, going into the nightmares that these villagers are having, facing up against them, defeating them, getting more of the items and trinkets that I need in order to be able to craft more of the guardians that I use in battle, along with getting more spells and gear. I think it works really, really well and pulls the player along to want to do more. There are some areas of the game that I feel like are opportunities to improve, and it'll be interesting to see what the developer does with this early access time. There's currently no voice acting, and I don't know if the game plans to release with no voice acting. Obviously, voice acting always helps to make a game feel more real, but at the same time, Adaptive Gaming is clearly an indie studio. Voice acting is very expensive, so it may be that none releases with this game. We'll see. Also, there were definitely some instances where I felt like clicking wasn't quite right, where I was clicking on a specific square or clicking to do something specific, and it wasn't registering in the game the way that it should. Again, obviously, the game just came out in early access. You're going to get small bugs and things like that they'll be working out. So no surprises there. Oh, also, I should have noted at the beginning, this early access has 2 chapters of the storyline of the game. So this is not the full game that's released right now. Another area that I feel like could be better is the introduction that walks you through the different systems and mechanics in the game. There's no story elements around it. It's basically the game points you here, okay, click on this, put these things together. Click on this, put these things together. It doesn't feel like, okay, I'm in the flow of the story, my character's talking to me, things are happening, and that's why I'm doing this. So I feel like as part of early access, they should find a way to flesh out the intro a little bit more. So the things you have to do in the beginning of the game to get familiar with its mechanics feels a little bit more seamless in the space of the story the game is trying to tell. And that's it. That's my overall thoughts on Thyria from what I have seen. It's clearly a game that's going to focus a lot more on crafting and combat. And usually I prefer games that focus on story and dialogue, where you have party members you can talk with and things of that nature. So not sure if I'll end up doing a full playthrough of this when it comes out, but I did enjoy my time with it, and I thought it might be something that some of the people in this community would be interested in. So I did a video on it to make you all aware. Again, let me know down in the comments whether or not this is something you're interested in and plan to pick up. Hope all of you enjoyed this video. Take care.